Opening your own business can be a harrowing experience, but it's important to remember that a lot of people have tried and succeeded over the years, leaving lots of information and advice to draw from. So join us as we take a look at the things you should definitely know before starting things up. It'll make everything a lot easier. Number 1, excuses can be your downfall. First things first, there's a reason why countless employees dream of making it on their own, but only a few motivated individuals actually take the leap and open their own business. This new start can be incredibly stressful after all. Since this would be your first business, it's not like you'll actually know what's going on, making the process and success of the business a tad uncertain at the end of the day. Besides, you have a mediocre job that pays the bills, right? So why risk that security blanket for something that could either make you successful or fail, like the majority of new businesses do? That's the thought process that often follows someone who's thinking about starting a new business. And take our advice. If you really want to take the leap and open your own space, you need to identify these excuses you are making and get rid of them. There will always be a number of excuses stopping you from going ahead with your plan to be your own boss, from newfound financial obligations to a general lack of time, but these excuses are only there to slow you down and eradicate the motivation that has made you so excited about opening your own business in the first place. Just be mindful of the fact that we aren't saying you should just rush into things. A great example is the financial excuses that you will be faced with. Sure, opening a new business will require a significant amount of capital and will probably call for you to apply for a business loan from your nearest bank. Eradicate the excuse by evaluating it and not letting it get in the way. In other words, don't make the excuse disappear completely, as you'll certainly need to sort out the financial problem before you end up opening your doors. Otherwise, you're almost destined to fail. Just make sure that you don't give in to them. Nobody said that opening and running your own business is going to be easy. So find a solution to these excuses rather than allowing them to hold you back from achieving your dream. Number 2, successful business owners have to become sponges. In order to be a successful business owner, there's no doubt that you need some leadership qualities. But more often than not, these people equate this to the situation in which an owner knows absolutely everything. So if you're going into your new venture with this attitude, beware, as you're setting yourself up for failure. Remember, this is your first business, so it makes sense that you won't know how to solve everything you're faced with. To truly become the best business owner that you can be, you're going to have to soak it up as much information as possible from other successful owners who have already done what you are trying to do. Being a successful leader no longer means being the biggest know-it-all on the block, after all. So don't fall into that trap. It's also important to take and keep your own learning notes somewhere close to your business hub. You're going to be faced with a lot of new information when you finally take the leap and open your own business. So it will always be a good idea to jot down the things you have learned along the way. Revise them whenever you can, and before you know it, that information will almost become second nature to you. Learning how to be a successful business owner is just one of the aspects you will have to concentrate on, though. You'll also need to learn how receptive people are to your idea, which often includes you telling as many people as you can about your business idea and then paying attention to their body language to really gauge a reaction. It's also a good idea to encourage people to be honest with you. This is especially relevant when it comes to friends and family. Tell them that you truly want their advice so that you can improve on things, and don't be negative when they end up telling you something that you don't like to hear. Remember, all criticism can be constructive, and how you receive it is often dependent on your own attitude. So adopt the mantra of learning, and you'll be sure to reach success in no time at all. Number 3, your business idea should be filling a gap or solving a problem. More often than not, businesses open based on a simple idea for the selling of an item or service. And while that might sound like the most obvious thing in the world, it's actually the wrong way to look at things. Anyone can sell anything without the actual setting up of a business. Just head on over to Facebook Marketplace and you'll see precisely what we mean. Rather than thinking about what you would like to sell to the public, focus on a specific problem you'd like to solve or a gap you would like to fill with your ideas. As it turns out, it's a lot easier to come up with a wanting customer base when you start a new business from this perspective of problem solving. Want to be involved in the collectibles market, for example? Then look at the industry you are working in and take notes on what items are actually desired. Rather than focusing on all collectibles, you might notice that there is a massive market for Pokemon cards, especially those of a single variety. uniquely. In other words, rather than doing what all other collectible shops do, set yourself apart from them and sell individual cards, causing fans of the trading card game to come to you for all their trading card needs. This doesn't just require you to look at the market though. It also requires some inward thinking at the end of the day. You need to ask yourself why you actually want to open your own business. By understanding these motives of yours, you'll be able to create a brand that is based on both inner and outer truth, which might sound a bit hippy-dippy, but really works to motivate you as a business owner to be better. Suffice it to say, it's just easier to succeed when you know what you and the customer want from one another. So spend some time asking yourself and the marketplace these questions before you jump right into the opening of your doors. Nothing is gained by rushing into an uncertain situation. Number 4, your first idea should be a simple one. Believe it or not, but quite a few businesses fail because of overthinking. A balance needs to be struck between thinking too much and rushing into the situation at hand. And this can be an extremely difficult balance to achieve. In fact, it takes some business owners years until they can say that they know just how much thought to put into a new idea. But if there's one thing you should know from the very start, it's that you should be keeping your initial idea as simple as possible. This will prevent you from overthinking and creating a complicated mess of an idea that nobody wants to invest in. More often than not, new business owners allow their simple ideas to snowball into expensive and elaborate end products that never had the ability to take off in the first place. So this is a scenario that you should definitely be avoiding at all costs. Remember, your initial idea is just that, an initial idea, and it can be tweaked at some time in the future when you have sufficient investment and customers to call on. When you take that first step though, simplicity will be your best policy. Let's look back at our Pokemon example in an effort to illustrate the fact. Rather than investing in a complicated idea like a shop that sells trading cards of all sorts, start with a simple idea of selling Pokemon cards. This allows you time to get comfortable with the idea, later attaching a single card marketplace to your store. And now that you know how to order and sell one specific trading card game, you can expand your idea to include others. This step-by-step process of starting with a simple idea and expanding is what a new business owner should be looking to achieve. Otherwise, you're sure to be overwhelmed by the sheer amount of learning that you'll be engaged with when you open your doors. Number 5, the cost involved can quickly get out of hand. Since you are thinking of starting your own business, it's best to get down with the concept of cost analysis as quickly as possible. While everyone would like to simply set down and sell items, that isn't how a successful business often runs, unless the owner has a massive amount of luck on their side. When you start to develop your business idea in the first place, always pay attention to how much this idea will end up costing you. There are a number of costs that need to be taken into account, such as location, rent, marketing, supplies, salaries, and everything else in between. Once you have established just how much everything will cost you, go ahead and quadruple it, as there's no way that you got to a realistic number by doing this without any tested knowledge of the field. Remember, it's always better to be over rather than under prepared. And this could be the difference between your business cruising to success or failing dramatics.